Hi everyone, welcome to Inside and Out Yoga and Meditation, where every day we help you reach your highest potential inside and out. I'm Emily and I'll be your yoga instructor. Today we have another beautiful grounding practice, but we're going to switch up the perspective a little bit and take things at a little bit of a faster pace, but don't let that scare you. It's also going to end up being a great lower body workout. So let's get started. All right, everyone, come into whatever comfortable seat is best for you today. I'm actually going to be sitting on my shins, but if cross-legged is better for you, or sitting on a pillow, a block, whatever that choice may be, bring yourself to that now. And when you're there, bring your eyes to a close, if that's okay for you, or just soften the gaze. We'll begin to deepen the breath, just to bring us to our mats. And we're going to continue the conversation about grounding today. Usually grounding practices, at least in my experience, are maybe a little slower, even a little heavier in maybe language or even poses. But I'm going to switch it up today. And we're still going to be drawing strength up from the earth, using images in our minds of steady, stable, strong things, maybe like a mountain or a tree. Those are my favorites. But instead of using mindfulness to be slow, we're going to try to tap into that mindfulness with faster paced movements, maybe even a little more challenging of movements. Some people find slow and steady really challenging because it's really hard to hold those poses for long, but others find things that have a little more fire in them a little more challenging. So maybe just go in with that awareness, but don't let it scare you. maybe you're trying something new today, and that's great, right? In a time where there are very little adventures happening, maybe this is a little adventure that you can have with yourself. So any thoughts that have come to mind, because that was a lot, just let them go and come back to your breath. Come back to feeling whatever part of you is touching the ground, even feeling your hands on the tops of your legs if that's where they're resting. It's another really great simple way to ground, just placing the hands on the thighs, palms down. And we'll take a nice deep cleansing breath together before we get into it. Inhaling deeply through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth, letting it go. You can bring the eyes open and we'll meet in a tabletop position. Bringing your hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, really pressing into the earth here. Fingertips are spread wide, really pressing the tops of the feet down. I know that's always something that I forget to do, right? It's so easy to kind of just like let your feet be there. But what does it feel like? What would happen if you really press them down into the earth? What activates for you? The whole rest of my body activates, my shoulders, my core. It's really crazy how just everything's connected, right? So when we have this stable tabletop position, we'll bring some movement into it with our cat-cows, dropping the belly, opening the chest, cow spine, rounding through the back, dropping the neck for cat spine. Inhaling, continuing to press into the earth, dropping the belly. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, pressing through the earth still. And you can take this movement as fast or as slow as you want. You can even start to bring in some circles with the torso. If you choose circles, if you go to the right, make sure you also go to the left. Maybe you just swing your hips back and forth. Whatever feels good, right? This is your practice. I'm just a guide. And we'll find stillness in our tabletop position. We'll extend the right leg out long and the left arm out long and bring the elbow and knee into meet at our center. We'll do that 2 more times. Bringing them back out long, and on your exhale, letting the left elbow and the right knee meet. Inhaling out long. Last one, bringing them back into your center. And then just letting the hand and knee come back down to our tabletop. And we'll switch sides, extending the right arm and the left leg. I like to keep a flex in my left foot. And bring the knee to elbow to meet in your center. Inhaling out long, still pressing into that left hand and that right top of the foot. Exhale, knee and elbow meet in your center. Inhale long, one last time. And exhale, bring them to center. And we bring the hand and knee back down. Keep your hands exactly where they are. Tuck your toes and just hover your knees off the ground for just a moment, right? Maybe you start to shake a little bit right away. Feeling a different kind of grounding, feeling the earth supporting you, feeling your strength. And let it go, bringing the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Keep pressing the earth away with the hands, letting your shoulders draw away from the ears. Maybe taking a pedal in the feet, bending one knee and the other. Maybe you keep both knees bent so you can really have that lift in the hips if that bend makes it easier for you. Maybe draw the heels down just as far as they go, and if they stay really high, that's totally fine. Be where you are and find stillness. Inhale the right leg to sky, and exhale, step it forward, lowering the left knee, rising to a crescent lunge. Arms can come to frame the ears or beyond the hips. If you have the room in your left hip flexor, you can really lean forward into the right knee. I do not have that room, so I'm not going to do it, but you take it away if that's available for you. When you're ready, you can bring the hands back down, heel toe the right foot out to the right side of the mat, and kind of scooch the left leg back a little bit for a lizard pose. You can stay up high here on the hands or come to your elbows, again, if you have that room in your hip flexor. My left hip flexor is pretty sensitive, so I'm just gonna give it a little more love and stay nice and lifted here. You should still feel a stretch. We'll tuck the left toes when you're ready and pivot over to the side of our mat for a wide-legged forward fold. Both feet come to parallel, and you can fold as deep as you wish. You can be up on the fingertips with the arms straight, or you can bend through the elbows and really fold. Whatever is best for your legs. Everyone's body is different. Your practice is not my practice. We'll pivot back to a low lunge at the top of the mat, finding our footing just for a moment, and we'll plant the palms and lift the hips back up to downward facing dog. Right foot steps back. We'll stay exactly where we are, kind of rolling forward as if we're going to go into a plank, but bending the knees, coming back to that hovering position, and lifting the hips back up to our downward facing dog. And we'll do that 2 more times, really planting the palms to root down and ground us there. Roll forward, bend through the knees, come back to that hovering position. Knees can be as close to the mat as you want, or you can keep them pretty lifted. And send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. One last time, rolling forward, coming to that hovering. Maybe staying here for one extra breath. And sending the hips back, letting it go. Inhale, left leg comes to sky. Exhale, step it forward. Right knee drops. We come right up to that crescent lunge. Right knee stacks over left ankle. And finding the length in your spine here, drawing up from the ground. Instead of sinking in, if you have that room in your hip flexor, you can sink in. But even as you sink, we're growing tall, right? Letting it go, bringing the hands down to frame the left foot. Heel toe that left foot out towards the left side of your mat. Scooch the right leg back. Whatever amount you're able to, really. Mine is a very tiny scooch. And then come to your lizard. Again, right or left knee rather stays stacked on the left ankle. Feeling the opening in your hips. Feeling the big left toe rooting down. Tucking the right toes. Pivoting the feet so they're parallel. Coming to our wide-legged forward fold. Maybe even finding some movement in your fold. Whether that be straightening and bending the elbows. Maybe straightening and bending the knees. Whatever you need. Feeling the feet press into the earth, the outer edges of the feet especially. And then come back to a low lunge at the top of your mat. Left knee bends. This time we'll step the right foot up to meet the left. And we'll fold forward at the top of our mats. Bend through the knees, really root down through the toes. You might even want to spread the toes wide to press down through the pinky toe, the big toe, the heel, the ball of the feet. And slowly rise up to meet in our mountain pose, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Adjusting the feet however you need. I usually need to turn my feet out slightly instead of them being super parallel. It's just the way my hips are aligned. We'll inhale the arms overhead and melt down back to our forward fold. And we'll inhale right away, coming back up, sweeping the arms overhead and staying here. Heel toe the feet out as wide as your mat. And again, I like to keep my feet slightly on an angle outwards instead of directly parallel, but you find what works for you and your hips and your knees. So our arms are overhead, our shoulders are away from the ears. If the arms overhead really brings your shoulders up to your ears, just keep them on your hips. No big deal. So our hands are wherever they are. We're finding length in the spine, and we're going to sit into our heels, bring our hands to our heart center, take a little yogi squat. Inhale, arms rise, legs straighten. We stand, maybe look up. And exhale back down to your squat. Really feeling the feet here. Inhaling, push back up to stand. One last squat. We sit down. And we rise, standing up. Heel toe the feet back in if you like. And melt forward for your forward fold. Inhale, step the right foot back for a low lunge. Plant the palms. Left foot steps back to meet the right. Downward facing dog. Roll forward to a plank pose. Bend through the elbows and lower all the way to the earth. Untuck the toes, really planting the tops of the feet down. Rolling the shoulders away, planting the palms to the earth. Lifting the heart. Baby cobra. Tucking the toes and lifting the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, step it forward for a low lunge. Step the left foot to meet the right and halfway lift, spine nice and long. Hand can be on shins or on the floor if you have that space. Wherever you are, let it go. and just fold. Really root down through the feet. Take a nice, generous bend in the knees and rise up. Arms sweep overhead and exhale, forward fold once again. Inhale, left foot steps back. Plant the palms, right foot steps back to meet left to our downward facing dog. Check in with where you're grounding. We're still pressing the arms and the hands away. We're still pressing the feet into the earth even as we start to quicken the pace. Roll forward to a plank pose. You can stick with lowering all the way down, or you can lower halfway through chaturanga, elbows bend back, flipping the feet, straightening the arms, lifting the heart, upward facing dog. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips, exhaling up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, step it forward for a low lunge. Right foot steps up to meet left, halfway lift, spine nice and long. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way, arms sweep overhead. And fold it back down to where you came from. Right foot steps back. Plant the palms, left foot steps to a plank pose right away. We lower through our chaturanga. Flip the feet, coming into our upward facing dog. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, heels high. Bend through the knees, look forward, step, jump, or hop to the top of the mat and fold when you get there. Inhale, rise, arms sweep overhead. And exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, halfway lift to prepare. We're going to be jumping back through chaturanga a lot. If that's not available, just step back, no worries. Plant through the palms, step, jump, or hop it back through chaturanga, bending through the elbows, flipping to the tops of the feet, up dog, and exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhale, heels high, bend through the knees, look forward, step, jump, or hop to the top of the mat, and fold. Inhale, rise all the way, arms sweep overhead, and exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, halfway lift to prepare. Exhale, plant the palms and step, jump, or hop back to bent elbows, chaturanga. Flip the feet, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. You got this. Inhale, the heels high. Bend through the knees, look forward. Step, jump, or hop to the top of the mat. And fold. Inhale, rise all the way. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, let it go, folding forward. Last time, inhale to prepare. Plant the palms, step, jump, or hop back to bent elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog, and stay. You deserve it. Maybe you close the eyes. Thank yourself for working this hard. Maybe bend through the knees if you need a little extra help lifting those hips. Rooting down through the toes, spreading the fingertips wide, feeling every fingertip, the base of your palm, all of it pressing into the earth, drawing up strength. And let's get moving. Not that we haven't been moving, right? Inhale the right leg high. Exhale, step it forward between the palms. Spin the left heel down so the left toes are facing the upper left corner of the mat. And we use the strength of our legs, the strength of the earth to rise. Warrior one. Again, just as in our crescent lunge, if the hands or arms being on either side of the ears brings your shoulders tension, just keep them on your hips, hands on the hips, whichever is better for you. Find your strength, find your power here. And wing the arms back and dive forward for devotional warrior inside of the right thigh. Left arm guides you up, feet come to parallel, flying warrior, arms overhead. One nice long line here, right from the base of your torso all the way up to your fingertips. Heels in, toes out. We squat down for goddess pose. Hands come to heart center. Nice wide squat for this one. You can really feel every bit of your foot really grounding into the earth. Inhale, back up. You can keep the feet where they were, or you can bring them back to parallel, whichever one feels better for you. We're going to be squatting 2 more times. Heels and toes out if they aren't already, and we squat down, keeping that nice straight line in the spine, feeling our legs, our glutes activate. Inhale, back up, flying warrior. And last time, heels and toes out, squat down, goddess pose. Maybe staying for an extra breath here before we come back up to flying warrior, just to come and land into our warrior 2. Right knee is bent, left leg is nice and long. Arms are parallel. Really feeling the strength in our legs, the strength in our feet even. Think of all of the crap really our feet have to take in our everyday lives, right? They carry us everywhere. All right, flip the right palm up and back, peaceful warrior, and come into your extended side angle pose. Resting the right forearm on top of the right thigh, left arm comes over the left ear. Keeping the legs exactly where they were, right hip crease drawing back. Big toes pressing into the earth. Outer left foot pressing into the earth. Inhale, the right palm up and back. Peaceful warrior. Cartwheel the hands down and move through your vinyasa, or skip it all together. Maybe you're like, Emily, we have done a million of these already. I'm over it. That's fine. Take a child's pose, or meet me right into downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes to sky. Exhale, step it forward. Spin that right heel down, right toes facing the upper right corner of your mat, and use the strength of your legs to rise. Warrior 1. Feel maybe even a slight tuck in the pelvis. Don't want it to be too extreme, but if you have a tendency to stick your booty out like I do, that slight little tuck just in your mind might help you. It'll activate the core, right? It'll help bring your hip points to parallel, which is what we want in our warrior 1s. Finding our breath if we've lost it. And on the exhale, wing the arms back and dive forward to the inside of the left thigh, devotional warrior. Maybe you can let the right or the neck go. Right arm guides us up to our flying warriors. Feet parallel, really pressing down through all the corners of our feet. And we'll take those squats again. Heels in, toes out. Bend through the knees, prayer hands, if that's what you're working with. Come to heart center, and we squat. Inhale, back up, flying warrior. Exhale, heels in, toes out. We squat down. Squeezing through the glutes. Let them bring you to rise back to your flying warrior. And one last time, heels and toes out. Nice wide squat down. Rise through your flying warrior. Bend through the left knee. Open up, warrior 2. Feeling the strength in your torso here. That's only possible from the strength that you get from your legs, which you get from the earth, right? It all starts from the bottom up. Flip the left palm up. Peaceful warrior, bring it up and back. Come down, extended side angle pose, resting the left forearm on the left thigh. Right arm comes over the right ear. Maybe you look under your right armpit. Really feeling that nice long line from the outer edge of your right foot all the way up to your right fingertips. Right arm comes back down, left arm comes up and back, peaceful warrior, and you cartwheel the hands down, and you step back to maybe your chaturanga, maybe a child's pose, maybe going right in the downward facing dog. Your choice. I'll meet you there. All right, inhale the right leg to sky. Exhale, step it forward between the palms. Same as before, left heel comes down. We rise up. Warrior 1. I think I I said this before, but they're called warriors for a reason, right? They're strong. They're power poses, right? Use that power. Exhale, let it go, swinging the arms back, diving forward, devotional warrior. Left arm guides you up to that flying warrior, parallel feet. Even feeling strength here and feeling the space that we're taking up, right? A mountain doesn't apologize for all the space that it takes up, and neither should we. Heels in, toes out. We're taking those squats again. You could do it. Inhale, back up, flying warrior. Heels in, toes out, squatting down, feeling those glutes fire up, feeling even the outer edge of the thighs, maybe the inner thighs also. Inhale, parallel feet, flying warrior. Exhale, back down to your goddess. And your goddess can be as low or as, not, you don't have to bend your knees all the way down. You can just give a slight bend, whatever you need. Come back up, flying warrior. We'll take 2 more. I lost count. That's okay. Fly, or goddess, bend through the knees. Inhale, back up, flying warrior. And last one, you could do it. Bending through the knees, heels in, toes out. Knees should be over or pointing towards where the toes are pointing, right? Inhaling back up to flying warrior and coming to that warrior 2, which should actually feel like a little bit of a relief, if you can believe it. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Welcome it, right? Welcome that challenge. Inhale, flip the right palm up and back. Peaceful warrior. Cartwheel the hands down this time to frame the right foot and step back to a plank pose. Right, feeling the strength from our arms now as opposed to our legs. We're going to fire up that right glute. Really root down through the left big toe, the left ball of the foot, and raise the right leg as much or as little as you can. Tap it back down, raise it once again. Tap it back down, raise it once again. Tap it back down, raise it last time. You can bend through the left knee if you need, and bring that right foot up to a 3-legged dog. So it's a downward facing dog, but the right leg is raised. Bend through the right knee and bring it in, knee to nose. Inhale that right leg back up to sky, and exhale, step it forward. We're in a low lunge. We're going to use the strength of the earth to build from the ground up to our extended side angle pose. So we'll spin the left heel down so the left toes face the left side of the mat. We're going to keep the right palm where it is, and we're going to open the left palm up to the sky and bring it over our left ear. Extended side angle pose. And if you'd like to even build it up further, you can come back up so the right forearm rests on the right thigh. Whichever you choose. Make sure you're drawing your right hip crease back. Inhale the right palm up and back, peaceful warrior, let it go. Cartwheel the hands down and take a vinyasa if that's what we're working with today. I'll meet you in downward facing dog. Last time, inhale the left leg to sky. Exhale, step it forward between the palms, spin the right heel down. We rise, nice, tall, and strong, warrior 1. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, wing the arms back, devotional warrior. Keep drawing that left hip crease back. Right arm guides you open to your flying warrior, feet parallel, arms overhead, or on the hips if that's what you're working with today. Heels in, toes out, squat down to your goddess pose. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, heels in, toes out, coming back up to flying. Exhale, goddess. Feeling that strength in your legs as they bring you back up, flying warrior. Exhale, coming down to your goddess. 2 more, inhale, back up, flying warrior. Exhale, come back down to your goddess. Inhale, letting the breath guide you for this last one. Exhale to your goddess pose. Maybe you take a little sway, like a little dance, like, yeah, I did that. Coming up through your flying to land in warrior 2. Arms parallel, left knee is bent. Feeling the pride here, the accomplishments of all those squats. Flip the left palm, bring it up and back, peaceful warrior. Cartwheel the hands down to frame the left foot. We step it back to our plank pose. Really spreading the fingertips wide, maybe even widening through the feet if you need a bigger base, it's totally fine. Root down through the right foot. We lift the left leg slightly off the ground and tap it back down. Left leg rises, we tap it back down. Left leg rises, we tap it back down. Trying to keep a nice long line from your head to your heels, not bringing the booty up, right? One last one. Left leg rises. Oh, and we keep it risen and we come back to our three-legged dog. Whew, I was taking it easy on myself. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, bring the left leg back up. And exhale, step it through to a low lunge. Building up to our extended side angle once again. Spinning that right heel down. Left hand comes to the inside of the left foot. We open up that right arm to the sky, opening up the chest, letting the right arm come over our right ear. Feeling the left hip crease drawing back, feeling the groundedness in our feet, even in our left fingertips. Use that strength to rise. Peaceful warrior, left arm comes up and back. Cartwheel the hands down and take a vinyasa or skip it. No judgment at all. I'll meet you in downward facing dog. Take a moment of stillness here after all of that really hard, amazing work. We just got a little bit more and I know you can do it. Inhale that right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step it forward. The left heel stays risen. Maybe you want to heel toe your right foot out to the right some for a little bit of a wider base and rise. High lunge. You might want to step your left foot in a little bit if, like me, your hip flexors need a little bit more love. And I would actually recommend for this one, hands to be on the hips. Helps us stabilize a little bit. We'll gently lower the left knee to just before it hits the earth and come back up to our high lunge. Lower the left knee, right knee bends with it. Inhale, coming back up. Last time, lowering the left knee, right hip crease, keeps drawing back, and we come back up. Hands can stay on the hips. Step the left foot to meet the right. Chair pose. Haven't sat in our chair yet today. Hips drawing to the back of the mat, knees drawing to the front. Weight is in the heels, right? For the whole practice, a lot of our weight's been in the front of the foot, right? Now we're going to find that groundedness from the back of the foot. We're going to use the strength that we're drawing up from the earth and put it in our core, right? A nice strong core, and we're going to do some step outs. At least that's what I like to call them. We're going to step the right foot out. I'll come to face you just so you can see. Step the right foot out. I like to point my toe and step it back in. And step it back out. And step back in. You can feel the burn in that left leg, right? Step it out. Step it in. Just two more. Step it out. Step it in. Last time, out and in. You did it. Great job. We're in our chair. Let it go to your forward fold. And you know what's coming. You can take a vinyasa. You could take child's pose. Or you can meet me right into downward facing dog. Whatever you choose. Inhale, left leg to sky. Exhale, step it forward between the palms. Right heel stays risen. We rise. High lunge. Maybe you use the hands to guide you up and they land on either side of your ears, or your arms land on either side of your ears, and then you bring the hands to the hips. Drawing that left hip crease back. The hips up, not moving at all. The only thing we're going to be moving is really our knees, right? Because our feet are staying stationary. So we'll keep that in mind. Feel our inner strength that we've been building, our inner groundedness, maybe connecting with our breath to keep us a little calm. And we'll bend through that right knee. And come back up, high lunge. And bend through that right knee, coming low, coming high to our high lunge. Last time, bending through that right knee and coming back up. And step the right foot to meet the left. We're in our chair pose. Hands can stay on the hips. Maybe you even challenge yourself and sit a little lower. Maybe you're thinking, Emily, you are nuts. And you sit a little higher. That's totally fine. Sit where you are, and we'll take step outs on the other side. Rooting down through that right foot, really spreading the toes wide. We step out with the left foot, and we step it back in. We step it out, and we step it back in. And I'm not putting my full weight back onto my left foot when I step it back in. We step it back out, and we step it in. Hips are not kind of doing a dance here. They're staying exactly where they are, which is why we keep our hands here to stabilize. 3 more. Step it out and step it in. Step it out and step it in. Last time, step it out and step it in. Come to a quick chair and let it go. That should feel so good. Plant the palms, step the right foot back. Step the left foot back. You're in a plank. You're like, Emily, no, stop. Lower the knees, send the hips to the heels. Child's pose. Forehead can come to the earth. Taking a nice deep breath. You sure do deserve it. Feeling the tops of the feet press into the earth. The shins pressing into the earth. Even the elbow points, the forearms, the base of the palms. All 10 fingers. Using it to support you. Whenever you're ready, you can roll up to a seat and come to lie on your back. Lucky us, right? We worked hard for this. You can let the feet come to the earth, knees nice and bent. Find a flat back. So adjust how you need. I know sometimes my back tends to really arch here and I can kind of like, fit a snack under here. But we want to have a nice flat back, really kissing the earth with our whole back. Finding our breath. We'll cross the right ankle over the left knee gently. And the left foot will come off of the earth. Maybe you'll intertwine your hands behind your left thigh and draw the legs in as much or as little as you need. Giving some love to the back, hips. They really supported us today, right? Maybe even take a wiggle in the toes or roll in the ankles. Also, sending gratitude there for supporting us today in our hard work. Maybe you just find a stillness here. It's a wonderful time to close the eyes if you're comfortable with that. Letting go any extra tension that might have crept in. Right, when we do these fast-paced movements, tension can sometimes sneak up on us, even when we're trying to relieve ourselves of tension. Let the left thigh go and bring the left foot back down to the earth. Uncross the right leg and switch. Left ankle crosses over the right knee. And not necessarily over. That might be confusing language. So if you were unclear, sorry about that. We're doing right on top of the thigh, just under where your knee is. Lift the right leg off the earth and intertwine the hands behind the right thigh and draw the legs in as little or as much as you'd like. I like to use my left elbow kind of pressing my right knee away. Keeping a nice straight line from my ankle to my knee. using the breath to ground you. Right? When we're not able to maybe connect physically to the earth, maybe we're out and about in our lives and we're feeling a little scatterbrained, but we want to bring some groundedness in. The breath is where we look to. You can let the right leg go and bring it back to the earth, and let the legs go out long. Arms can just be on either side of the hips. Legs can just fall where they may. And just as I said, we'll use the breath now to maybe ground us. Because sure, our whole body's on the earth right now, right? And we feel that connection. What if we don't make that the focal point for our Shavasana? What if it's just our breath? I'm going to stop talking for just a moment to give you that time with you and your breath. But trust that I'm here and I will bring us out of class together. If you have the time, I invite you to please stay in Shavasana. You can stay for as long as you'd like. You don't need to come out of it. Stay with your breath. But if you feel your time has come to come back to more connectedness with the earth, take some small movements with the fingers and the toes, deepening the breath even. And bend through the knees so the feet come to press into the earth, and roll over onto one side. And using the opposite hand to press you up, maybe keeping the eyes closed, to whatever seat serves you best. Palms can come to the thighs. Finding grounding will never look the same. From day to day, from person to person. Maybe you need to feel your feet on the earth. Maybe you need to literally feel the earth in your hands and press your palm into a tree or the grass, or even just holding some rocks that you keep in your house. Maybe that groundedness can come from the breath and our connection to it. Thank you so much for joining me today, for grounding with me today. I'll see you next time. Namaste.